used to have clients who would send me voiceovers as intros, no webcam footage, no gameplay footage, just an MP3 file that had them talking for a few seconds, and they wanted me to make an intro out of it. I never knew what to do with it. I started to play around in Premiere Pro with it, and I ended up creating some of these cool intros like you're seeing on the screen. That's why in this video I'm going to show you exactly how I create intros like this. Now if you don't know me, my name is Tactical VFX. I'm a gaming video editor from Australia with 4 years of experience, so I know what I'm talking about. Without further ado, let's get into Premiere. Once we've got our audio file in Premiere Pro, we're going to cut it all up. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to be recreating the intro you see on the screen now. It's for a client who did Valorant challenges, and he sent me this intro file, so I'm just using this. So now once we've gotten rid of all of the blank parts in the audio and just cut out any unnecessary bits, what I usually like to do is find a background. I usually use just blank colored backgrounds, but you can use whatever you want from Google. Just look up whatever color you want and use that. And since I'm replicating the edit, I'm just going to use the same color background that I did for that one, which is red. Now what I usually do is I get a character that acts like they're speaking. It could be a Wojak, but what I usually do is I just download a random character off Google and add their profile picture to the head. Then once you have your character in there, you're going to want to add your effects to it, like drop shadow and other kind of depth effects. If you want to know more about how to make things feel more alive, go check out my last video. Once you've done all your effects for the character and background, you're going to want to add every single PNG you're going to use for it into the project. Then you're just going to want to move them to the side because we're not using it right now, and we're going to begin to animate it. You can go check out my first video for more inspiration on how you do animations, but for this one, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find a slide in up preset, drag that onto the character and the background. Then I'm going to delay this by a few frames just so it's synced a second later. Then I'm going to take the transform effect and apply it onto the character. Uncheck this, turn the shutter angle all the way up, and I'm going to add a slow zoom to it just so it feels more alive. Now here's where the second PNG comes in. Whenever the person talking says something, you typically want to have something that pops up that resembles it. So in this case he says Valorant, so I'm going to have the Valorant logo pop up, and then I'm going to zoom into it for a nice transition into the next scene. Don't worry, I'll show you exactly how to do that. So as you guessed it, I'm going to add another slide in up preset and add all my depth effects again. Then you're going to sync it up to when he says Valorant. Now here's the fun part. I'm going to do a nice smooth zoom rotate into the next scene. So here's exactly how I'm going to do that. I'm going to right click nest to nest the sequence. Then I'm going to add a transform effect, uncheck this, the shutter angle all the way up again. If you know me, I do this every single time. It gives it motion blur and just makes it look 10 times better. Then you're going to keyframe the scale and rotation. You're going to go a few frames forward, it doesn't really matter. Then you're going to choose the anchor point and make sure it's on a point in here. Don't worry if it moves. For me, I just chose here because it's red. And then you're going to change the anchor point to the position so it goes back to the normal. Then after going a few frames forward, you're going to zoom in all the way until it covers majority of the screen, and you're going to turn the rotation from anywhere from 40 to 60. I choose about 55. Now for the scale, you're going to do an exit curve. If you don't know what an exit curve is, it's pretty much this. If you want to learn more about curves, you can go watch my first video on my channel. And for the rotation, we're going to do an intermediate curve, and then you're going to line it up so this is kind of matching that. Now because you're so far zoomed in, don't be surprised if it's really choppy and takes ages to load frames. That's just what it does for me. It might be different for you if you have a better computer, but for me it takes ages to load frames because it's so zoomed in. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go and get a color matte. You're going to click this little pen tool and select the color of whatever the image on the screen is. You're going to bring that on, then add a cross dissolve to it, make it about 2 to 6 frames. Look at the seamless zoom transition you just created. The way I did it, it looks really slow, but for the purpose of the video I'm just going to make it slow. Usually it's not that slow, usually it's a more fast transition. This one's more smooth and slow, but just mess around with the keyframes. Generally that's a structure, you don't have to follow it one to one, but that's pretty much how you do that smooth zoom in transition. Now here's where the next PNG comes in. Again, because he's saying something, so it's coming on the screen. And then again, add all your depth effects and whatnot. Now because it's spinning into the transition, I'm going to have this character spin into the scene so it matches it. Now since he's saying your favorite agent Reina was taken right out of your hands, I'm going to animate a mouse clicking on it, indicating that someone's taken the character, and then have it zoom out as it clicks. So it's like someone clicked on it, stole the character right out of your hands like the person speaking is saying. We're going to bring the transform effect on it and animate a position for it to come on the screen. Then I just simulated a little click by just making the mouse get smaller and bigger so it looks like they clicked on it. Now that I've simulated the click, I'm going to have Reina be sucked out of the screen. For the next part, I'm going to have someone crying come on the screen to simulate the emotion of it being taken right out of your hands. So this is just a rough remake of how to make this animation, but there's still one more thing we're missing: sound effects. This is probably the most basic and easy part. All it is every time there is a movement on the screen, a zoom, a transition, anything, you're gonna have a whoosh come on the screen. And if it's a really big movement, you're gonna have a nice deep whoosh and a fast whoosh that comes on. This is obviously besides music, you're gonna have to find music for this as well. But once you're done all the sound effects, that's pretty much everything to it. I hope you enjoyed this video and it's helped you to master animations like me and other editors, or animated intros, whatever you like to call it. Go check out my other videos, like and comment what you want to see next. Go join my new Discord community. I'll see you in the next one.